Hey, I'm Alexei, and today we keep working on our cheeky character. We're going to do the eyes and the mouth modeling, a bit of sculpting, and a bit of tips about instances. And yeah, so if you haven't seen the first part, go check the links in the description or follow it to the page and check out more tips there. And I'll see you in the next part.
Need rigs? Ace 5 Studios has rigs.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So next I want to make the mouth. Let's hide our body mesh. Close body mesh. Body. Let's hide this guy. I think the next step that I want to do is I want to make the mouth. And for the mouth, let's learn some new tools, eh? Let's get our spline tool. Here we got spline pen. And actually, yeah, spline pen, and in our attributes here, let's change this to cubic. And let's just start. Click here, and then here, and here, and here, and here, and that's draw them all the way around. And it's closed. Now I think here we can move this up a bit. This guy a bit here, and as you notice, I work, since here I'm working on making kind of art stuff. Like this isn't really like for an animation or for a video game or for a movie. So I'm kind of working a lot more destructively, like doing this body mesh being, baked down, because I'm kind of just working more like, on clay or something. I'm not really working on being procedural. You can see my other tutorials being procedural. So anyway, here we have the spline. Let's make another spline. Let's get ourselves where is it? N-sided. Let's make this guy very small. Move him up here so we can see him. And holding the Alt key, let's make a sweep. And it'll be inside, and put the spline in here on top. Nope, maybe put this out of order. There you go. And we want to change the spline here. See how right now the edges are kind of really, too much of them here and not enough of them here, and it's not uniform. Change this from adaptive to uniform. And then drag this down to 1. I guess that seems like about the right distance. And now let's have a look what it looks like in the 3D viewport here. There you go, we have it. So let's move this guy forward a bit. So let's show our body mesh. Okay, that seems about right. I guess we'll probably need to be moved about here somewhere. Okay, and as you'll see, if we put this guy into a subdivision surface, he'll smooth out. Let's make it editable. We don't really need all. Make sure you make the sweep editable, not the subdivision surface, so you have these control points. And I use the Q key to turn off on and off subdivision in the viewport. And also right now you see all this kind of messy wireframe. If you go to display options here, display, and switch to isoparams, it'll get cleaner. So in our reference, where are we here? You'll see there's a bit of thickness around the side. Let's hide our body mesh. So let's add some thickness here. Let's grab our grab brush and just drag it out a bit. And then maybe pull this up a bit and this a bit down, so that we have these kind of wobbliness on the cheeks, maybe. Actually, instead of using this grab tool, let's right click and use this brush tool here instead. It's a different tool. I like it more because you don't have to click on the actual points to move. You can just click an empty space and kind of nudge them around. So here, for example, we have this nice thin area here, so let's thin it together. And this also a bit thinner here, and this one is stretched out. Seems about right to me. Let's get out. Think about something like that. Probably the way I want it. Now, we'll probably also want those little drooping, goopy stuff. And we could probably just select this polygon here, do this one as well in the polygon mode and just control drag him down. Maybe once, maybe twice. Maybe drag him out a bit. Go to edge mode and double click this and move that out. Back to polygon mode. You can see it's kind of drooping down. Probably also we'll want to move this so it attaches to the body a bit more, but we can do that later. Maybe we don't need to because we want to fit our teeth and stuff in there as well. So anyway, we can drag the droopiness down like this, and maybe we can drag it a bit more and scale it up. Then scale this one in, this one even more in. I think that's about right. You can add, there's also a couple of little ones there, but we can add them later. Or we can do it now. We can just select these polygons here and go Control C, Control V, and just move them around. And these guys on top, just use the B key and, not the B key, sorry, polygon pen tool here. I have it set to B, and then just hold the Control key to close it. Didn't really work. Oh yeah, Control key from here to here and from here to here, and should be done. Then maybe move the edge here. Let's move it up. And move all these guys down here. Double click so you only have this selected, and then we can use our brush tool here to only move the selected part. And press Q so that, there you go, so that we can see that it's a, what does it look like? Just a little squiggly thing. There you go. Seems about right. And there's another one on the outside, so Control C, Control V, and move it around, rotate it, scale it. Then let's get our brush tool again, and seems about right. Okay, so we got the mouth here. Add our body mesh for a second. Should also be display isoparms. Now, we need some teeth and a tongue in there, I guess. So let's do that quickly. Let's make a cube. Let's move them up to around here. And I think it's about the right thing. And make it editable. And then let's go here. Let's move them to the right place. And then let's go out, switch to our polygons, select the bottom one, Control drag, and maybe get our loop tool with KL and just add a little loop here. And holding the Alt key, throw this into a subdivision. There we go. That looks about right for our teeth. Now all we need to do is holding, for this guy, holding Alt key, let's make a cloner here, and it'll be inside a cloner. Currently it's cloning the wrong direction, and it's a grid, so let's change it to linear. And let's change this offset to like 5. There you go. Maybe 0 here, maybe 5 here. There you go. Drag it out a bit, make it 4. Now we have 4 teeth, and we can, now it's quicker to decide what size they are. Something like that is good. And we can just make this thing editable, and now we have our each individual tooth, which we can adjust, maybe scale it a bit down. There you go. And show us our body mesh. So we're doing pretty well on this. And the reason I'm leaving space here is because we want these teeth to have a space to go. And we also will need some dark area behind them, I guess, right? So what we should do is, let's get our, where is this, our mouth. Let's call this our teeth. Name stuff so we can find them later. And I think the easiest thing to do here is, let's go into edge mode and select this edge here. And, or maybe, let's select, instead of this, let's go UL and select our polygons here. And then go right, Control C, and then unclick so you don't have anything selected, and press Control V. And you should have your new mesh here, which is inner mouth. And then with the edge loop tool, we select just the back edge here of these, and we scale it down and move it back a bit. And this edge, we might want to scale it up. Maybe add another loop cut here, scale this up, maybe move it, I don't know. Guess that's about the right place. Let's go to brush tool, because we don't want it to move everywhere, because at the bottom here, we want it to move them back here. That seems, select these guys and rotate them. That's about right. There you go. So you have some volume here, and let's shove this into a subdivision object. And well, we can delete all of these selections on this. And let's make a new material by double clicking in the material section, and just let's make it dark red so we can, there you go, can see where the difference is. And now we can just get some points and drag them up. There you go. And then this thing here, we can just right click and go close polygon hole somewhere it existed. There you go. Oops, wrong one. Close polygon hole. Ta-da! And let's go scale tool, control, and just drag it down so it's very small. And there you go. That's fine. So that's our mouth. Let's make another material, purple going there for the, that's pretty close purple. Okay, so that's our mouth. Hope that was helpful. Okay, so next I want to make these little crosses in the eyes. Now we could just make a cross which sticks out of the eye, but I want one that actually is inset to the eye. For some reason I feel that's the way it's meant to be. So we have our little eye here. Now there's many ways to do this. We could, select a cross like this and press I and then press D to extrude in. And if we put this in a subdivision surface, we get something like this, but not really what we want. And if we start adding, so like we need more loop cuts here to hold these guys so that it's a cross, so it doesn't smooth out the edges so much. But then you'll see we get these kind of ugly lines around there. So we're not going to do that here. What we're going to do is undo this, and we're going to sculpt this guy in. So let's go subdivide, 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 subdivide. Let's get our draw tool, W to check. Nope, we need to subdivide a couple more times. There you go. Make this brush a bit bigger. Just middle click and drag. Make this thing a bit smaller. And let's just draw. Nope, let's go control. A bit deeper. There you go. So we have our, holding the shift key, I'm just smoothing out these edges here. And we have a little eye. Now, next what we do is we're going to copy the sphere by control dragging it. We're going to delete the sculpt tag. And we're going to just scale the sphere in a bit. And this will be our black sphere inside. And we're going to put it into a subdivision surface. And then scale it up a bit. You know what? We're going to just I'm going to delete this. I'm going to select this one and hold shift and make a sphere. And it should be in the same place. So just scale the sphere down. There you go. And we're just going to up our segments. There you go. Scale it down. Ta-da, sphere. Black sphere. Black iris. And this is eyeball. Ball. I'll get it. Let's double click here, make a black material, drag on the iris, double click, white material on the sphere. And there we have it. We have a little cross. And this guy should rotate pretty easily. Yep. Even though it's high res, since we're just rotating it, I think it'll be fine. And now what we do is we select this guy and press Shift C and go Instance and double click this guy. And now we have a copy of this ball, and we just drag it into the position of where the second one is. Here you go. And we can delete this old one. But the thing is actually here is we're instancing this geometry. Geometry is not really good because right now if I want to add like an eyelid, it'll have to be copied. But if we just Alt G this, so that we have like a null, this will be eye group. And then here we're going to change, like right now this instance is pointing to this eyeball. If here, let's copy this black iris and make it bigger. As you can see, it's not appearing on this eye. So like, let's make it editable. No, that's too many subdivisions. Let's reduce the number of segments here because we don't need that many. Can't really see how many. And B, there you go. We need, we can't see, because isoprimes. Let's go back to display wireframe. There you go. Let's delete this black material off it. Scale it up a bit. I think it's about the right amount of subdivision. Let's make it editable. And let's go to point mode. And with a rectangular selection, let's delete these bottom ones. There you go. Now you might want to scale it down. And then let's go to polygons, select all, right click, and extrude. But right now, if we extrude, let's solve this guy. So we're just looking at this guy. If we extrude, you'll see on the inside is kind of a hollow shell. Instead, what we're going to do is we want to select create caps and extrude. Now, as you can see, it's actually a nice thick one. And you can really tell the difference if we put this guy in a subdivision surface and now we extrude, you'll see we get a nice soft kind of, shell. But if we extrude without the caps, then see you get this kind of sharp edge over here, which isn't nice. So create caps, extrude, turn off solo. We extrude a bit more. Yeah, that seems about right. And maybe scale this guy down a bit. Perfect. Now, as you can see, let's switch back to our display shading. We don't have it here because we're instancing only this eyeball. But if we instance this eye group, we just drag it in here. Now this one also has an eyelid. Neat, right? And we change the direction, the orientation of this one. And whatever happens to this eyelid here, let's call this eyelid. So this one, it'll happen there as well. So very handy that way. Also here, change this to render instance. And then hopefully, yeah, there you go. Not as much lag when you move stuff. So let's move this guy back here. And we can actually control drag and have another one down here. So we'll be able to animate the blink pretty easily here. So that's the eye. Actually, one more thing that I want to do here is I want to get our body mesh, this one here, and show layer manager. And I want to add a new layer. I don't know how this will look yet. I want to call this like eye wrinkles. And I want to add some, let's go draw, add some kind of, this kind of stuff underneath. And then smooth it out. I think that looks about right, maybe. Smooth it out. Yeah, it's pretty much what I want. Smooth this guy out on the edges and make it a bit bigger and smooth it all out. Oops. Maybe a bit more smoothing over here. That seems about right. Maybe these guys need some more smoothing. Seems about right. Let's turn it off. I think it looks better. I can reduce how strong it is. Yeah, I think that's good. Oops. Again, you can turn the wireframe on and off with the W key if you're in one of these tools here. Okay, so I think we're doing pretty well. Let's get our eye group and target it so it's looking a bit more towards here. And also for the scale here, if you try to scale this instance, it won't work. What you want to do is you want to scale it with this object tool, because then you'll see the coordinates here will scale. But be very careful with this, because it doesn't always, it can mess up your, if your model has these scales here, it can mess everything up. So be careful where you use it, only when you absolutely need it. And this is one of the times when you absolutely need it, because you're scaling an instance and you're keeping stuff interactive. So there you go. We kind of scale the eye. Let's go back to our body mesh. And let's grab this here. No? Sculpt. Show layer manager. Why can't I? Why can't I draw? Very strange. Oh, there you go. See, model tool. Make sure to switch back to it. So I want to drag this one down a bit. Smooth this stuff out a bit. There you go. Perfect. There you go. That's what we're going for. Oops. Yep. Thanks for watching. And as always, remember, if you need rigs, Ace5 Studios has rigs. We have free rigs up here that you can use in your personal projects. We have Marty and Mia and 5JPack for explainers and arms and legs. And Maria has a bunch of cats and animals you can use. And here, if you go through, Marty has a full face rig, which you can, you know, it's lots of functionality. You can use them in your projects. Mia is also fully rigged. You can use her as a host or to sell your product. Also have the arms and legs pack, which you can put together to build your own characters. And they're already rigged, so you don't need to do any weight painting. You just have to stick them together and ready to go. Or you have 5J people for your explainer videos and other stuff. So don't forget to check it out, and see you next time.